Hello, this is David Antonelli. I'm back to give you Inbetween Diary of a Film tutorial number 18, where I'm taking you step by step through my own experiences making an independent feature film to help you make your first independent feature film. And today we're going to talk about the last parts of the in-between shoot. We covered the London shoots, and here we're going to talk about the final wrap-up where we shot in New York, we shot in Tokyo, and we shot in Flint, Michigan. Now the New York scenes, they went very, very smoothly. I met Kevin T. Collins there. We went through the scenes, and we shot by Brooklyn Bridge. So the final scene in the entire film is actually shot right there. It went very, very well. There were no hiccups at all. And then the Tokyo scenes were absolutely spectacular. I rented a beautiful hotel that was actually situated on top of an office tower, and the room had this beautiful window which went from the ceiling to the floor, and you could see all of Tokyo, and it was the perfect place to shoot. I met Emma Kelly there. I flew her over and gave her enough funds to stay in a hotel for a couple days. She brought her mom, and she was so prepared. And the actor that played Bick was also there. He was living in Tokyo at the time, so it all came together so smoothly. We shot some stuff on the street, some stuff in a taxi cab. There was a scene in a taxi cab that went so smoothly. We just did it in one take, and it had this eerie quality to it. And then with Emma Kelly as Rosalind going up the elevator to the hotel room, and then the scenes in the hotel room with Bick were just incredible because you could see all of Tokyo out there through the window, and she was so prepared, and so was the actor who played Bick, that it was just a real pleasure to shoot with him after all the stress of shooting in London, especially the Tower Bridge scene, and and the conflicts with the makeup artists and things like that, to actually do this. And the Tokyo scenes worked so well, in my opinion. And finally, it was Flint. Now, there was a Polish actor who was staying in New York who played the terrorist leader, not Loinstra, but the guy that converted Jan years back. And so here there was a flashback to Jan's past, and we made those scenes black and white and look like sort of old vintage footage. And we went to Flint, Michigan, and you would have heard about Flint, Michigan from Michael Moore's film Roger and I. It's very economically depressed, and it was a very depressing place. I was living in Windsor, Ontario at the time, so it was a short drive, a couple hours for me, and I flew them in, and we met there, and we found incredible locations, urban decay, this park where there's this old bus, and it was a perfect place to do these scenes. And we had these guns, of course they were plastic guns, and they had little orange tags on them to prove that. But it was kind of risky because there's a lot of weird people and in downtown Flint, and we attracted a huge crowd of a lot of really scary people. They started to gather around us, and there was one woman all dressed in green tracksuit, shouting that she was God, and she was so high on crack, and people were circling us, and we felt we were going to get robbed or killed or something. It was so scary. And then one guy came up and said, what are you shooting here? And I said, oh, it's just a home film. And then he said, home film for what? And I said, home film for home. And then we kind of looked at each other, me and Kevin T. Collins, and we said, we got to go. Our shoot's all over. See you later, guys. And we just kind of cleared out there. But fortunately, those scenes went really, really well. But actually, there's also another memory. My son was there as a sound man, and he noticed that while we were shooting, there was a guy who stopped in his van at a red light, and he was staring at us, and you could see his white eyes staring at us. And then the light went green, and he just sat there, and he didn't move, and he just kept staring at us. And my son was like, that guy is pretty scary. Anyway, it was a frightening experience, but it all went well. And my son and I still joke about it. The home movie from Home line says it's lucky that guy didn't kick the shit out of you, because it was pretty cheeky. But anyway, that was it. That was the final pieces of the scene of the film. And now next week, the week after, we're going to talk about post-production. I'm going to talk about what you have to do in post-production, and then, film festivals, marketing, and distribution. So anyway, thanks for listening. And oh, by the way, the novel version of In Between is also out. You can buy it on Amazon or anywhere else. And also my new novel, The Orphean, which is very modernist, like Kafka and like Peter Handke, who won the Nobel Prize in 2019. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you again.